Yo, bro, I'm low-key faded, bro.
Highway.
What's this guy supposed to be, the ultimate badass?
They ain't ready. They ain't ready, Jim. They ain't ready. Here we go.
I'm gonna go out here, guys.
I was like, what is it? You ain't Mexican. What is that?
Kind of looks it a little bit though, so I dig a little deep in there, right? But yeah, he's got that. He did that. Yo, what's up, everybody? Today is the day of days. It is the Frisco Report. Welcome, everybody around the world. Mike will be joining us here shortly. He's running a little behind, but we're getting it going now. All right, so it's the big rumor day. Rumor mills are abound, and we're going to talk about it. We'll talk a little bit about the upcoming game here. But right now, all eyes are on the Cowboys, Jerry Jones. All right. So, first of all, shout out to everybody in the chat box, everybody watching this live and around the world. We are live. All right. So, what are you guys thinking, man? The big rumor is Maxx Crosby. The Cowboys have reached out to Maxx Crosby, and the inquiry. That's what they're calling. They're calling it an inquiry. All right. So, you have that floating out there. So the Cowboys, they're looking to make a move. All right. Now, I don't think it ends here. You know what I mean? I think that there is interest here, for Maxx Crosby. You did trade Micah for two first-round picks, right? And so you have that ammo for this year and next year. The question is, do you want to flip them already? Do you want to flip the two that you gave up to immediately turn around and get Maxx Crosby? All right. It seems like a weird thing, but it could be coming down to money. Obviously, if you get Maxx Crosby in here at his current contract, it is cheaper, a lot cheaper than what you would have paid for Micah. So in essence, you're kind of just trading, the financials, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're going to give those picks back up, supposedly. So, but, that's if they gave up two. What do you guys think the value is? What would they have to give up to get Maxx Crosby from the Las Vegas Raiders? Are you thinking it's two first-round picks? All right. Are you thinking that it's a first, a second, and a fourth, or a first and a third? What do you guys feel the asking price would be to acquire such a talent as Maxx Crosby? He's one of these guys that Jerry likes to call the War Daddy. All right, the War Daddy, bro. Let's see what everybody's saying in the comments. We got a couple people here. All in the soil says not worth it. So he's not with it. We got Chief 1645 says a first and a second. All right, would that get it done? Let me know, guys. What you guys think? What you guys think is going on? Let's see what's going on here, bros. What do you think the deal is going to be? What do you have to give up? All right, so it is the wet blanket. And people are already talking about it. Let's talk about it, all right? Because it looks like this may not actually happen. So sad news indeed. But is it real though? Is it real? So let's take a look at this. All right. So this report it just came out here about 32 minutes ago. All right. This is from Tom Pelissero, excuse me. And he's reporting that Let me see if I can enlarge this a little bit more, guys. Hold on. Here we go. Let me see if you guys can see that. Tom Pelissero. The Raiders met with star Maxx Crosby today to let him know they aren't shopping him and won't trade him. Sources tell me and Jane Slater. She always has the inside track. So, man, this just dropped 32 minutes ago. While other teams are interested, the Raiders aren't interested in moving their best player, and Crosby wants to stay in Las Vegas. Now, like I said, this just came through the news 32 minutes ago. Obviously, as has been said here in the comments, there's always a price, right? There is a price, to get it done. I think the Cowboys are probably. I don't think the Cowboys want to offer 2 firsts. You know what I mean? Because I think that makes them look kind of stupid and trading Micah for 2 and then turning around and giving away the 2. I think what they're looking to do is a 1, possibly another early pick, and maybe even throw in a player. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where we're at right now, guys. It is what that is. Ian Rappaport reporting the same deal here. So, all the big guns, all the big hitters are kind of backing this up. So, could this inquiry be dead in the water? Could be. You know what I mean? They probably, they don't want to give him up. They are probably looking for their own Herschel Walker kind of deal, because if you look at the Raiders, they're in the cellar right now. You know what I mean? So they're probably looking at this as, if we were to trade this guy, we're going to want a king's ransom. All right. Cowboys aren't going to do that. I think they did make the inquiry. We know that they did do that, but I think that might be where it ends. So, things could change. You never know. But here's the key thing, though. You know what I mean? I think the Cowboys are in business, though. I think that they kind of let the cat out the bag, that they're looking for, another pass rusher. They are looking for that guy. So whether it's Maxx Crosby or somebody else, we'll have to determine that. Cowboys Corner in the house, joining the conversation, the breaking news. What's up, Mike?
What's going on, you guys? Sorry I'm late. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Joe, what is the topic at hand so I can get down and dirty with you?
We're talking about the Maxx Crosby inquiry that's been pretty much shot dead here by various insiders. Tom Pelissero, Slater, and Ian Rappaport, all saying that this looks like it's going to be dead in the water. Raiders do not want to trade him, and Crosby wants to stay in Dallas. So I'm just saying that for them to make this move, they probably would ask for a king's ransom, Mike. And I don't think the Cowboys are going to do that. First of all, what's your thoughts on this rumor? And let me hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, if the Cowboys can get it done, let's get it done. And I don't know if it's going to be a king's ransom as like a Micah Parsons king ransom, but I feel like, maybe a player in the second round pick, I think, gets that done. He's 29. If he gets traded, he'll be on the books for $30 million both years, I believe. And Jerry finds that a discount. All right. He was willing to offer Micah Parsons $40 million a year. So you can get a player like Maxx Crosby, who's been pretty dang consistent in his career on a crappy team. Then I'm for it. We need some help. If we're gonna, and I would wait till the actual trade deadline itself. Okay, because I don't want to sit here and lose to the Broncos and the Cardinals, and we just made a trade, right? If we lose to the Broncos and the Cardinals, don't trade for anybody. Let's just give Dak the MVP and we'll try again next year. But if we win against these guys, all right, then we're above 500 for the first time all year. We hit the bye week. Count me in, bro. I'm 100% on it. But I with his age, with this contract, I don't think it'll cost as much as Micah.
Yeah, and I think that's what killed it there. Now the Cowboys do have a trade relationship with the Raiders. With the owner there going back all the way to Al Davis, and now the current the son, right? So
Yep.
there's been some trades there. So I think that's why this kind of would work perfect. But I think it's going to come down to what they want in return. I think it's going to be too high for what the Cowboys are looking to give up. Or maybe they just don't want to trade him. You know what I mean? It could be simple as that. You got to have two to tango, as they say, Mike. So that's where we're at on the latest there on Maxx. A lot of people super excited about it, Mike, like I said. But looks like that it could be for not. Now, that being said, Mike, this just shows you that the Cowboys are interested. There's other players, Mike. I don't know if you've thought of any other players. There's been a lot of players' names thrown around as far as like other trade candidates. Obviously, Crosby, he's one of the top tier guys, right? I mean, you're not going to get him for cheap. You know what I mean? I think even at 29, he's still one of these guys that's going to demand a high price. Like let's say it was T.J. Watt, right? Well, and I don't think T.J. Watt would be in the mix, but like I see him in that type of caliber. You know what I'm saying? Like he to me is top tier. You know what I mean? So when I think of pass rushers, I think of Parsons, Nick Bosa. All right, let's get that one right. And then Myles Garrett, obviously, Crosby, and then you start having the other ones, Mike. But do you think that's what the case is here? The Cowboys are interested in adding a pass rusher here, Mike. Did they tip their hat?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You look at it, right? You can go interior, you can go exterior, you can go linebacker, and you can go safety. If you look at those three positions for the Dallas Cowboys, you can go either one of those four spots. Obviously Maxx Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, those are the two guys on the defensive end that you can go for. But if you want like an oddball name, you can look at the Tennessee Titans. Jeffrey Simmons, the defensive tackle there. He could be a trade candidate for that franchise looking to rebuild. They just fired their head coach. They're going in there, all willy-nilly next season to try to rebuild this thing back up. And then if you look at the linebackers, the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel having a stroke at the press conference last night talking about benching players. So maybe the fire sale over there. I'm looking at Jordan Brooks, that linebacker over there, or Jeremy Chin, one of the safeties from the Panthers. Those are just a little bit of names. And then, another guy to look at, maybe Cody Barton as a linebacker from the Titans as well. So, Cowboys have so much big gaps in this that there's a lot of positions, 4 positions that you can look at. But those would be some names for me. But obviously, for me, Joe, I've been consistent in saying this. Give me the pass rush.
It's got to be a pass rusher. You named off a couple of good names there, obviously. But I think the secondary doesn't move the needle. I don't think a linebacker moves the needle. You are getting Overshown back. We don't know what shape he's going to be in. Did he get the Dr. Cooper treatment? If he did, we're in big ass trouble there. We know that. We know the history there. So I think it's got to be an edge rusher, Mike. So let's take a look at this. There's another list I was looking at earlier. This comes from Connor Live say from Connor NFL Draft. And, talking about drafts earlier this morning, Maxx Crosby, obviously. Trey Henderson, he's still a name that's out there, Mike. He's also a little bit, I guess you could say, long in the tooth. 30. I think you can get another 2 years out of it. But how much do you want to pay for those 2 or 3 years, right? Jalen Phillips, this is a guy that I mentioned early in the year when the Dolphins looked like they had called it in right out the gate. I said, look for the fire sale. Jalen Phillips would be a good one. Bradley Chubb, he's on the same team The Dolphins, I do like both those names, but do they move the needle enough? And then what would you give up? He's suggesting a 4th or a 5th rounder. Who knows?
That's too rich. Jalen Phillips been hurt the last 3 years of his career there. Jalen Phillips for me would be like a Sam Williams, maybe a Trayvon Diggs trade, a player for player trade. I don't know if I'm giving up any draft equity for a player that's been hurt 3 years in a row. Give them Trayvon, give me Jalen Phillips. I'll be happy with that.
No, that's something I could go. That's something I would be on board for. That's exactly what I was going to say, Mike. If we're looking for player for player trade, which the Cowboys also like to do, that would fit perfect there. You know what I mean? Now it's about the cap number. Does it fit? This sort of maybe even throw in a player and a day 3 pick or something. I don't know, but I think you can have him in there. Jalen Phillips would immediately be like one of your top pass rushers right out the gate, and so would Chubb. Minka Fitzpatrick, secondary player. We talked about that. I don't see that. Demario Davis, he's like 36, 38, something like that. He's old as hell. Will McDonald, Mike, from the Jets. Now, this is an interesting one. The Cowboys had interest in him during the draft. Even brought him in as a visit, if you remember. Edge rush specialist, but hasn't quite hit there for the Jets. This would be kind of like something that McClay would do, though. Let's reclaim this and try to mold him into something and cross his fingers, right? So that would be one. Jeffrey Simmons, like you said, Mike, from the Titans, they too have said that they weren't looking to trade him. But now that it's out there, now that the cat is out the bag, wait a minute, the Joneses are looking for somebody. Maybe they do. Maybe they start thinking about it. Like, hey, wait a minute, let's rethink about this. You know what I mean? So I think some teams that may not have been in play might be in play now, Mike.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, well, you're absolutely right, Joe. Money talks, bull crap walks. All right, you talking about fleecing the Cowboys because they might be desperate is on the table. All right, so the Cowboys have to do their due diligence. See what I did there? And who they're really going to go after, because they will be fleeced, because these 31 other teams know that Cowboys are desperate on defense. They're 32nd ranked. So, hey, you want to be better, you got to pay up. So you got to keep that in mind. But my top 3 guys, Joe, who might go a king's ransom, but not quite Micah Parsons, king ransom. Maxx Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, and Jeffrey Simmons. Those 3 guys for me. How if the Cowboys do anything in the trenches there, those are the 3 guys that I want. And if you give up one of the first round draft picks and next year's second and maybe a player, I think I'll be okay with that. I'll be able to sleep. Now, if you give up both first round picks and no player, oh man, I'm gonna be hot.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely at a crossroads here, because, like you said, the Cowboys have 2 more games before the bye week. Was last week an apparition? Was it fool's gold? We have to consider that. You know what I mean? Or was it the real deal? Was it a peak of things to come defensively? This team tends to do this to us all the time. It's just like The Godfather says, Part 3. Just when you're out, they pull us back in, right? And I think that's where the fan base is at right now. There's a lot of excitement as far as like, wait a minute, can you imagine if we had Maxx Crosby, bro? It does get you excited, but it still doesn't answer the question as far as like, but what about the rest of the team, though? The rest of the D-line still sucks. The linebackers are still not good. You have this whole drama with Trayvon Diggs, and we'll get into that here later in the segment. But this feels to me like they feel like maybe they're like a Charles Haley player away, and they're not, Mike. So are we getting a little bit of ahead of ourselves? Is a big part of the fan base getting excited for nothing? Like what is your sense here as far as like what's going on with the Cowboys, baby?
No, it's a good thought, Joe. I mean, you bring up a really good point. for me, it's if you can bring a guy that can consistently rush the passer, who could consistently draw double teams, that will free up Donovan Ezeraku. That'll free up Giovanni Clowney, who got a sack last week, and Ezeraku finally got a sack last week. If you look at their dominating performances, which is only against crappy teams like the Jets and the Commanders, they got sacks, and that was a big difference maker in the game. And so if you can get those sacks, that's going to help Deron Bland. That's going to help Bridges and Reddy Stewart, and that could help your safeties a little bit. And because it starts up front. It starts with that pressure. But I think a pass rusher can benefit this team tremendously because pressure – I'm big on pressures. Everybody knows that. People make fun of me. But pressures should be a stat. And a good quality defensive end can apply that pressure, and that just elevates the other guys on this. Just imagine if Michael was still here, what Donovan Ezeraku would look like. Maybe he doesn't just have 1 sack in 7 games. Maybe he has a couple more than that. But that's what a dominant pass rusher does.
Yeah, it's a great point there, man. We'll see what they do. I mean, the cat's out the bag, right? So something's got to happen, bro. On this post, I also replied as far as this. I said, this is not a bad list. From what I saw from the Texans last night, Mike, they look like crap. So I threw this in there. How about Will Anderson, the Texans defensive end edge rush specialist? You know what I mean? The Texans, I think this could be DeMeco Ryans last year. Could the fire sale happen here? You got an edge rush specialist, Will Anderson, young Alabama specialist edge rusher. Christian Harris, also an early pick. Looks like he's kind of fallen out of favor there with them as well, a linebacker. These are guys that could possibly be considered as well, Mike. What's your thoughts on a Will Anderson from the Texans?
Hey, 24 years old. Give me Will Anderson all day long. Like, I don't see why it wouldn't work. The product from Alabama, it's just can he be inserted now, or does he have to develop now? I mean, look what Tyrus Wheat did with the Lions. All right, ending that game on a good note. We could use some of that presence. Can he come in here and be dominant day one? I know he was a first-round talent. I think the Texans traded up to get him in that draft that we covered.
Yeah.
Can he be that difference maker on defense?
Yeah, I think if the Texans are in that kind of mode, and they're the morale is low over there right now. I being here in Texas, you have a pretty good sense of the other team here down the highway. And that's the talk here, man. The Texans, they look like they're in trouble, man. Have a terrible offense. Doesn't look like they're going to win. The program may be over there for Ryans. And the Texans, they've been known to cut their coach here. They don't give them too much slack there in Houston. They're not doing too good. They move on, bro. You know what I mean? So could that be in play? We'll see about that there, man. There's a lot of other names there, but you need somebody that can come in here and boost your pass rush and help move the needle. And to me, it's got to be an edge rusher, Mike.
100%. I mean, that just if you live and die by the trenches, everybody knows that's where it starts. It starts up front.
Yeah, that's where it starts up front. Now, speaking of the secondary, Mike, Trayvon Diggs told to go home. All right, things are not looking good here for Trayvon Diggs. Showed up to the facility. Go home. No, we don't want you here right now. And could he be moved, Mike? Could he be involved in this whole rumor mill of Trayvon with a pick to get somebody? Is he on the table, Mike?
The Dallas Cowboys have to tread lightly with Trayvon Diggs. And what I mean by that is, Joe, his injury guarantees in his contract. He could, if he's falling at the house and getting concussions, he could possibly, God forbid, tear his ACL and be out another year, and the Dallas Cowboys have to play him. So the Cowboys have to really walk on eggshells when it comes to Trayvon Diggs. Maybe that's why they sent him home. Don't be in this facility. I don't want you in the weight room. I don't want you doing this. I don't want you to risk getting injured because of those injury guarantees.
Yeah, you make a good point about that, man. This is what I think about Trayvon Diggs. What's going on here, bro? He has a brother, right? Stephon Diggs, known to pull some crazy crap himself. I think he got on the phone with his brother because brothers are gonna talk, bro. Hey, man, you know what I did, or you know what you need to do? Do this. If you want to force a trade, do this. Stephon Diggs knows how to get out of teams. He knows how to force trades. So, what better person to get, possibly bad advice, maybe good, depending on what side you fall on, than his brother Stephon Diggs, Mike? What do you think about that? Is he getting advice from Stephon Diggs?
He's getting advice from somebody because ever since Micah got traded away, he's been a cancer. We touched on this right here on the Frisco Report just 2 weeks ago. Now you're starting to see that trend, Joe. We brought it to the attention first. We brought it to the front of the line. All right. If there was one player you get rid of, my guy was Trayvon, because I really feel like he's becoming a cancer, a distraction in this locker room. And there's not a lot of trust between him and the Cowboys. So he's getting advice from somewhere. Will it work? Who knows? Could his career be done from the way he's playing this? Because NFL teams, they have each other's backs when it comes to players like this. They will blackball you quick, fast, and in a hurry. So Trayvon has to watch what he does, because other teams will say, if he did that to them, he can do that to us.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So we'll see. There's always an opening for defensive. I mean, any kind of defender. I mean, so I think the door is open to move him. Honestly, I think that there's going to be talks. There might even be talks, like you said, the injury clause. They want to keep him healthy, possibly to move him. As he gets another injury, maybe they can't move him or whatever it is. So hey, we're planning to move this. Stay home and chill, bro. Go watch Netflix, or something.
He don't need any more kids. He don't need any more kids.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
Man, we lost Joe.
Shit, internet.
There he is. He's back.
Am I? I can't get this thing to show up.
What are you trying to get? What are you trying to pull up?
Twitter? See if we can get that Mike Bethune super chat to come up. It's not coming up for me.
Oh. Boom, baby.
Did it come up?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, man. It really annoys me whenever the Cowboys are linked to trade rumors for a star player. The entire fan base, myself included, buys into the hype, and 100% of the time we never get them. Soap opera. Yeah. No, I agree with that, man. That's what we're experiencing right now, right, Mike?
I want me some glory hole.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things where Jerry pulls you back in, all right? And, you have to take it with a grain of salt. I don't want any trade done tomorrow. I want a trade done before, like, the day of the deadline. Because if we don't win against the Broncos and we don't win against the Cardinals, there's 0 point of making any trade.
Well, it's a good point. But then the other side of the coin is, if you don't have that pass rush, is Bo Nix going to dissect the crap out of your defense? Well, it'll be a good test. You know what I mean? Now, is the defense better now? Are they going to play more man now and slow down Bo Nix and all their weaponry? Nah. Or is this going to be another reason? I mean, let's say we get sliced and diced, Mike. Is that going to put more pressure on Jerry to make maybe a desperate move, or is it going to be like you said, like, okay, well, we're not that good. Let's hold on to this draft pick. Let's just roll with what we have right now.
Yeah, no. I think what's going to happen is, if you so happen to lose these next 2 games, well, there's a good chance that you will. The Dallas Cowboys have showed zero consistency even on offense, as good as it's been, there's been zero consistency there on that front as well. And I mean, that's a bold statement, but the facts are facts. But I feel like they're going to roll with what they got, and they're going to roll with who's coming back. Overshown's 21-day windows open. Cooper Beebe's 21-day windows open. Siobhan Ravel, Joe, 21-day window is open. So they're gonna look at these next two games. They're gonna say, okay, we're getting healthy, run it. And you could see these guys coming back right after the bye week.
And it is the next game is with Denver, Mike.
It is.
That's Denver and the quarterback of quarterbacks. All right. Yeah, he's a player, bro. The guy, he's a player, bro. You got him and Sean Payton. The other quarterback whisper type of guy. It was reported here. We reported it here during the draft that if Sean Payton didn't take Bo Nix this season, he had his eyes on Jackson Dart. So he has that. He's a good talent evaluator, bro. I think he gets that from Parcells. He gave him that quarterback eye, like what to look for, like a Romo, a Bo Nix. Obviously, Peyton did draft some other backup type
Drew
of
Brees
quarterbacks.
too.
But yeah, and Drew Brees. So he has that eye for talent. So I wish we would have had him here, bro. I wish we would have got him instead of McCarthy, but it is what it is.
Yeah. No, look, we got Schottenheimer now. All right.
Shotty too hot.
And I feel like Schottenheimer on the offense side of the ball is really doing something different. I don't know if this is the Jason Garrett, Kellen Moore, Mike McCarthy offense, because he's doing a lot of different things, different looks. A lot of this stuff isn't even predictable anymore. Where are we going out on the offensive plays? So I like what Schottenheimer's doing here. I like how he's evolving to the new NFL. It's refreshing. But on the same token, they got to stay consistent. When you need points against the Panthers with 3.5 minutes to go, you should have that offense running out the clock like the Panthers did to us. When you start off 0 to 13 points against the Packers because you're going 3 and out, not good stuff. You got to learn how to do this thing they called scoring. And they scored first against the Eagles week 1. They scored first against the Commanders here in week 7. I need more than that, Joe. I'm greedy. I want to score on every flipping possession, but I want to score most definitely on the first possession. That's how you set tones. And with this game against Schottenheimer and Bo Nix, Sean Payton and Bo Nix, excuse me, I think they need to pound that rock. Don't score fast. There's no sense of scoring fast. Milk that clock. Go down there, give Javonte Williams the ball against his former team, and milk this baby. All right? Give me a low-scoring game, 28-13, something like that, because I want time of possession like 36 minutes plus. And that's how you're going to beat Sean Payton.
Yeah, they're going to have to play a clean game here. They're going to have to give max protection. You got Nick Bonito, edge rush specialist for those guys there. Javonte Williams, revenge game time. Will he have his Rico Dowdle game? All right, so hoping for that. Hoping for a big game from Javonte Williams. Run all over the place. You know what I mean? Check this out. Brando, the gaming championship. Tony Romo's scheduled to be the game analyst for the Cowboys versus Broncos game on Sunday. That's awesome. He'll have good insight there on Peyton and what's he thinking. And it should be an interesting call. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to that part of the game, Mike. What Romo's input is on Peyton and the offense that they're going to be running here.
Yeah, Romo, he can't be biased in this one. The guy that brought him into Dallas and the team that Romo paid for. So he got both worlds there on the sidelines, made a big impact on his career. But Romo, dude, horrible commentator. All right. Not very good. He was good his first 2 years. After that, I can commentate better than Romo.
I like this one. Need to turn Knicks into Twix. I like that one. Hopefully, we get a pass rush there. They're definitely gonna, they're definitely gonna get a challenge there. They're that team is built to be in the playoffs. So this will be a good litmus test for where the Cowboys are at right now. Is the defense fixed? Are we gonna run more man? Is that gonna help us play good in this game as well? Will we see, Mike, the first ever 80-yard field goal from Brandon Aubrey in Mile High?
If it's 29-30 and we got 1 second left on the clock and you don't want to do a Hail Mary, you absolutely right. We could see it.
I do want to see I want to see a record-breaking kick from Aubrey. I don't know why, but he's already kicking like almost 70 yards in indoor regular altitude stadiums. I say that jokingly, but can you imagine, bro? I think if anybody could do it, it would be him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he could do it. I really do. I don't know if he can do an 80-yard field goal, but I think 70 is well in his range.
I think you can do it, bro. I think you can.
Man, I'm thinking about this game, Mike, and I'm just thinking that the Cowboys historically have a problem with Denver, and I don't know what it is, but they have to show up in this one, and Dak needs to show up in this one because Dak versus the Broncos hasn't been good either, Mike. So this is a huge game for him. This is a playoff atmosphere in the altitude on the road. It's gonna be jam-packed, sold out, loud as hell. This is a big test for the whole team, bro.
Yeah, it is. It is. We need to go on some type of winning streak if possible. Broncos coming off a high, beating the Giants, scoring 33 points in one quarter. So they're capable of scoring fast, quick, and in a hurry. I just don't see how we win this game. I mean, it's a road game. It's Mile High, like you said. Dak struggles up there. I mean, we had a rain delay, and they kicked the snot out of us. They kicked the snot out of us 8 years ago. Like we just don't have a good track record beating these guys. I honestly don't see how that changes from just because of this defense. Like they played good against the Commanders. They didn't have no flipping wide receivers, bro. If Debo was there, if Scary Terry was there, maybe it's a different outcome. Maybe it's a closer game. I don't flipping know. But I hate to be the Debbie Downer here, but I don't know how we beat these guys. I really don't.
It's going to be a challenge. And I think this is where it will get interesting. If the Cowboys happen to beat them, I'm back on board. All right. Because right now, like I said, I'm still arm's distance, bro. I'm not one of these fans that said, "Oh, we beat Washington and we look real badass. We're back in it, dude." Like they have to earn my trust, bro. And to get that, you beat these guys on the road, playoff atmosphere, and then I think we're gonna be in it. I think we will compete, But if they come out here and look like crap, bro, they're back to the same old ass whooping, looking like crap. Penalties, all defense looking like crap, then like I said, win one, lose one, win one, win two, lose two. It's gonna be this kind of season, and you don't know what the hell you're gonna get from these guys.
Right. And we got a super chat here from Mike. He said, "Oh crap, why can't I get to it?" There it is right there. Bam! All right. The concern I have with this game is the atmosphere in Denver. I like our offense, but our defense is still atrocious, and we struggle on the road. He's absolutely right, Joe. He's absolutely right. I don't know how we can stop Harvey, Bo Nix, Sean Payton, Dre Greenland, he just got suspended a game for cussing out the ref at the end of that game. It's gonna be an uphill battle, dude. It really is. I'm not chalking this down as a win by any means. I just can't do it.
No, and it is true. And typically, your defense, typically in the NFL, travels better on the road. Your defense does, but we don't have a good defense, so it's gonna be all hands on board for the offense to keep it a close game, like they have done these last couple games. But if they get stopped and they're not able to score and keep pace, then it could be an ugly game. So they're going to keep it close, or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Look what Brando said, the best moderator in the game. He said the last time the Cowboys beat the Broncos on September 10th, 1995.
So that's 30 years ago, bro. That's 3 decades ago. Unbelievable. In 30 years, I mean, we're talking about the early part of the internet. We're talking dial-up, barely, we're talking,
Bitty bitty bum bum. All
Yeah,
right, come on the floor.
Yeah, we're talking way long ago, bro. Like it's crazy, man. It's almost the drought is almost as long as the Super Bowl drought. We're about to hit that anniversary, and man, it's some crazy stuff, bro. But it's gonna be an interesting game, and I'm looking forward to it. But 2 tough games. Cardinals, they're historically play the Cowboys pretty well too. So even with the dwarf of dwarfs throwing that ball, he can still, win it for the Cardinals. So it's going to be interesting next 2 weeks, Mike.
Yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle, dude. Nothing's given. All right, everything is earned. And right now, these Cowboys earned a 3-1 record. All right, we're fortunate to be second in the NFC East. If they want to do anything after this bye week, they got to complete these next 2 games. If they don't, it's done, Joe.
They do. They absolutely do. The right now the division is open, but eventually someone's going to make a move. Either the Eagles will just be able to outlast the rest of the division, or somebody will make a push. Whether it's the Cowboys, Commanders. I mean, maybe even the Giants. You just never know in this league, but. It's up for grabs, bro. We're in striking range, but if you lose this one, and it looks like the same old Cowboys, there will be no faith in in being able to beat winning teams. This is a playoff type game. So what have we seen from Dak in playoff games? We haven't seen good from him. He hasn't won them. You know what I mean? But don't get it twisted. He's having a really great season. He's won a lot of these games. Him and Pickens are like this. They're kicking ass. But this type of game is a good test for Dak and company, Mike. Huge test.
Oh, yeah. The biggest test, dude. And, if they could beat the Broncos, I'm still not sold. If they could beat the Cardinals, I'm happy going into the bye week and see what we can do. I really am. But they have to go 2-0 in these last 2 games. If they don't, hand sanitize it, they're worse than COVID.
They got to stack some wins. It cannot be this up and down roller coaster season. To take this team serious, they have to. They have to stack wins and good wins. Not this stuff that we have been accustomed to. We beat up on crappy teams and get whooped by the bigger guy. There's always a bigger lion in the herd, in the pride. There's always a bigger bully, right? So let's see what happens in the game. I'm very interested to see how it turns out, Mike. I cannot wait for this game.
Yeah, I can't wait either. We gotta be physical. How does this defense respond? Can the defense handle success? They didn't handle success when we beat the Jets. They didn't handle success against the Panthers.
Yeah.
Then you come into the Commanders. Now, can they handle that success and be more consistent, Joe? It's going to be an uphill battle.
It is, and we have to remember. Right now, behind the scenes, HBO is filming this division, which it's going to air in December. You know what I mean? So with all this drama, you have the HBO recording all this crap from all the teams in the division because it's the NFC this year. So we have that. The Eagles have the Madden curse. That is working its way on Barkley right now. The Madden curse. I believe it. It's real. He's having a bad season. We need the rest of that to trickle to the rest of the team. And then a new division winner. All right. So let's see what happens. Mike, I think that's all we have tonight, guys. It is a wonderful time right now to be a Cowboys fan as usual. We knew it was going to be this type of season. Drama. Jerry wouldn't have it any other way, Mike. But let everybody know where they can find you if they haven't already, bro.
Cowboys Corner right here on the tubes, _ Cowboys Corner on Twitter. Like, subscribe, guys. Follow the Frisco Report. Hit the notification bell on Joe and my channel, guys. If you haven't already, hit the like button. It's always good to be here on the Frisco Report. And again, guys, in over 5 years of doing this Frisco Report, I was late, and I apologize.
I want me some glory hole.
It's all good, bro. Life happens. Nobody's perfect, bro. Nobody's perfect at all, man. But we do try to provide you guys with the best news, the best info, the best analysis, the real. We're not out here feeding you guys unicorns and cotton candy. All right. Mike, we do appreciate that. Appreciate everybody in the chat box. Hit like on your way out. Subscribe. We do appreciate it. And we'll see you for the next Frisco Report, guys. Peace out, bro.